There we go. We're live.
The dummies were a couple minutes late coming in. The internet was broke for a second.
I know everybody was sitting around going, it's 2:02. Where are they at?
Yeah. Bart had a ham hock is what was going on. It was an Easter ham hock thing going on.
We are still getting set up. It's Easter Sunday. When we scheduled this and planned it, we didn't really look at the calendar and say, hey, that's Easter Sunday.
Sure.
But once we knew, we said, let's go ahead. People are going to be full from dinner.
Ooh, I came through getting high fives from Scott's family, and they were showing me cheesecake. Like, look at this. You're walking right by the cheesecake. I was like, stop it. Stop it. Your mom was slapping me around and everything. Brutal.
Welcome, everybody that's tuning in. We got Ben is back with us. He's now full-time with the Scotch Malt Whisky Society.
Full-time.
I thought you were going to say with the Scotch Test Dummies because I'm the second time.
Yes. Yeah, we'll make you a third or a fourth, my friend.
All right. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Ben.
Yeah, hey all. I'm Ben Dietrich. Many of you might know me from my blog, The Single Malt Alliance. And as Scott just mentioned, I just recently took up a full-time gig with the Scotch Malt Whisky Society of America. I'm about as big of a whiskey enthusiast as there can be, I guess, but I think I'm in good company.
We like your wallpaper in the background.
Thank you. Wallpaper is coming back, you know. Yeah.
You need some in 3/4 inch black pipe industrial shelving.
There's a how-to video on that that's blowing up.
There you go.
That does look sharp, though. We will be talking about a label change that's happened. We've got a rum here. We've got a Scotch here. We'll be sampling those. And then if there's time, we do have some samples of some things that you can't buy anymore. So we'll do those toward the end because one of them has me salivating.
So what are we going to do?
We're going to test it. Thanks for bringing me back on track. Got all excited. I was like, whoo. It's a little chilly outside. The scarf's back on.
Yeah. We've had 60 degree and 70 degree weather here. Now it's like 28, 29 degrees.
Kind of like Chi-Town.
Wind blowing.
But yeah, I had this on. Yeah.
So let's just go back a little bit before we get into the tasting, Ben, and just kind of walk us through how you got where you are now with your position with the Scotch Malt Whisky Society and just kind of fill us in.
Yeah, you know, Scott, I'm still trying to figure that out myself sometimes. It's been a whirlwind. I kind of definitely living the dream. It's been about a month since I joined full time. But to kind of walk back, you know, the funny thing, because I was on your show, what was it, last summer, July maybe? I can't remember exactly. But, you know, I was on with my friend Nate, Whiskey with a View. And it's ironically, we were just talking about the Scotch Malt Whisky Society, just as a member and a fan. You know, we were just doing that. And so here I am kind of with I guess the same agenda, but you know, it's my initiative. But so yeah, you know, I connected with them about a year ago, obviously blogging on Instagram, and just said, hey, you know, guys, I'm really interested in what you're doing. Love the whiskey. I mean, to me, it's always represented in the pinnacle of what, you know, single cask whiskey can be, and just the concept is great. And so we connected with them, and then just a few months ago, started talking about maybe joining full time and helping really spread the love to the society across the U.S. And so, yeah, here I am all of a sudden sitting in this office with all this whiskey behind me.
Beautiful.
It's kind of a dream.
Very much. They just like when you got hired and there was like a welcome box and it was full of like 28 bottles. That's what I'm imagining.
Not exactly. This is actually a lot of these bottles up top, at least, were for my personal collection.
There you go. There you go. See, I figured. For me, though, the dream is you're hired, pick up the heavy box. It's yours.
That would be great. That would, look, I'm just happy to, you know, hey, talk about this whiskey for a living.
You bet. You bet. I'm just teasing.
No. Next gig.
Yeah.
Hey, look at a couple comments that come in real quick. Go Habs wants to know if Bart is sick again.
It's a little chilly outside, not sick, but I thought, you know what? It's cold. I'm throwing on the comfortable scarf.
Eric Waite thought it was April 1st, so this might be a joke.
Boom, sniper.
Nope. No joke.
It's real.
Tom R says, "Great Scott, great shirt." This is a new one,
brand new.
We had our first Patreon supporter hit the $500 support level,
right?
And we got him one that's in the Patreon colors of black and orange,
yeah,
with the logo, but then it says Super Scotch God on it,
right?
So when Bart showed me the picture of that, I said, "Get me one in the black and yellow."
Yes,
black and yellow.
Yeah,
also,
he was like,
also Wichita State University shocker.
True,
colors.
true.
Also, University of Iowa.
Yes,
my alma mater. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There
See,
you go.
that's why we did it.
You're an Iowa guy.
I'm a Hawkeye, yeah.
There you go. See, that's it. That's where my dad grew up, was in Iowa.
Oh, nobody's perfect.
So, there you go. It was all the German farming going on there.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah, I bet, with the name.
Okay, so smoked plum lemonade. This comes out will hit the shelves, or not the shelves. The outturn comes out in a couple days. Smoked plum lemonade, cask number 4.226.
The outturn.
Yeah, you want me to back up real quick and kind of explain what that maybe the outturn is for people? I know a lot of people.
Yeah, because I don't know. I've never heard
it. You get the outturn.
I don't read it. I open it up. I tear open the seal, and I'm like, let me find the peat pages.
Okay,
that's what I do.
Well, you're in luck today, but I'll just kind of back up real quick. I know a lot of people are familiar with the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. For those who aren't, just kind of in really high-end overview of what it is. It's an international club of whiskey lovers, again, around the world. And what's unique about this club is that it is also bottling whiskey from single casks from distilleries all over Scotland and beyond for its own members. So it's a club where, they're also going out and just bottling things from different casks from all different distilleries. So you kind of have to be a member of the club to be able to then access the whiskey. But we also have a number of partner bars around the US where you can also go and actually try these in advance. So it's a really cool thing. It's a pretty diverse group. I think a lot of people think it's people who are just really intense about whiskey. I think we're all kind of like that, the three of us here. But it's a lot of people, who have some interest in whiskey, but love the concept that everything is unique. Obviously being a single cask, no two casks produce the same flavors and aromas. And so people who are into whiskey and just really appreciate the uniqueness and the quality of the whiskey are really our core member, if you will. And so, yeah, to your point about the outturn. So every month we're releasing new whiskeys for the members. And I say whiskeys, but now we're actually doing other spirits because, as you know, you have a rum in front of you, Bart, right there. We're doing rums, cognacs, armagnacs as well. The UK side, they're getting into some barrel-aged gins. If you go to the UK site, that's now available. We might be getting those. Just released a bourbon. So there's a lot going on this year, but the Scotch whiskey is the core of what we do, obviously being the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. So every month, a whole collection of new different whiskeys. Here in the US, it's looking about 10 to 12, maybe 15 whiskeys per month. And being single cask whiskeys, there's a limited number. I think this one we're about to taste this is a bigger, sherry cask, 627 bottles in the world. And then in the US, we might get 50, 60, 100 max, So everything by definition is a limited edition and kind of speaks to the uniqueness of everything we drink.
Yes. Question real quick from Simeon Delia Vecchia.
Perfect.
He wants to know, is SMWS product available in Australia? Do you know?
Yeah. So right now, the way it works is every country, I think there are 19 countries in total right now that have a branch of the society. Australia is a big one. I think they have a large membership base in Australia. Every outturn, the whiskeys that we come out with every month are determined by each branch. So what we're coming out with here in the USA is not necessarily the same as Australia. It's kind of just a collaboration with the UK, and we pick what we want to release for our members. There might be some overlap, but sometimes it can be completely different.
Yeah, the Australian rule's over the top. Whatever it is, it's stronger.
We first noticed that with and you were
sorry.
I bet you forgot the bottle of the exotic cargo, didn't you? You was going to bring that.
Yeah. Damn it.
Because that one was at first only available. It was only available in the UK, and it was about a year later before it was available in the States here. But Bart picked up 2 bottles of it actually, and
it's juicy.
It's really good. Yeah,
you like that one, Bart?
I do. It's blended. It's very affordable.
It's the first blend that they've done, that the Scotch Malt Whisky Society
and
has done.
Very, very sweet and juicy. And I was supposed to bring it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We got plenty.
Yeah, we got to know.
It's almost that one's almost a controversial one because a lot of people think the Scotch Malt Whisky Society, with the exception of that one bottling, everything is a single cask. But a lot of members were asking for something a little different.
Oh yeah.
So and I think on the affordable spectrum, it's it's something that they want to be able to serve when they have friends over. I mean, they, by all means, enjoy themselves, but when friends come over and want to drink some whiskey, they're a little new to whiskey. It's a great way to start them off with something that's, it's not available on the shelves. It's a bit unique and special in its own way.
Right. Yeah. Real colorful bottling. And then, I'll be real honest with you. Compass Box has totally changed my mind in what a blended whiskey can be. So if I see blended, I don't immediately poo-poo it. I'm like, really, what is it? So I looked into it a little bit more, and I decided, hey, it's the Society's first blended. I want 2 of them. It's also a great price, and yeah, it's really good. We are going to review it. I purchased that myself, but it's already half gone, the first one. So
we're good. Glad you're enjoying it.
Oh yeah, it's really tasty. Oh, hold on, we got a cowbell. More cowbell.
I'll come in real quick.
Ooh, Tom R.
Big shout out to Tom R. Thank you, Tom. $50 to the super chat.
Wow, and he
more
said
cowbell and cheers from a cold. Oh, he's in Chicago.
Chicago.
Tom, come on over. Come over for a tasting.
Yes.
Yeah, fellow Chicagoan. We're all generous here.
Yes, very.
Now, okay, so let's get into. Now, I'll point out. You haven't mentioned, for those that haven't looked up, we're going to get the question. Yeah. What distillery is cask number 4 from? Highland Park.
Bam.
So this is a 12-year-old Highland Park.
Yes.
From a refill sherry puncheon. 64.5% ABV. And it is a monster.
Hot diggity. Hot diggity. Yeah, you gave me Scott when this came in said, hey, here's a sample this before we a couple weeks before we do the show or whatever. And I was like, wow.
What's interesting, so to your point, like Scott, about the numbering system, every bottle of ours has a code on it indicating, we have a little code system that dictate what the distillery is, and then also the number of casks that have been purchased from that distillery. So this is 4.226 is the code of it. The name is Smoked Plum Lemonade, but just focusing on the code, 4 is the 4th distillery that the Society has ever purchased a cask from, going back a few decades. And then again, this is the 226 casks that they've purchased. So the idea of doing this and not putting the distillery's name, it really plays in the fact that we as consumers make a lot of judgments about a whiskey based on the branding and the packaging and past experience. Single cask whiskey is so unique that we can be bottling something that's very different from the house style of the distillery itself. And so trying to keep an approach to just focus on the spirit inside. But, look, as whiskey enthusiasts, it's also nice to know the distillery and kind of compare the uniqueness of the whiskey. So you nailed it. It's a Highland single malt Scotch whiskey from Orkney, and there's only one distillery up there.
But you're right on. Of course, kind of us being enthusiasts, I've got the little cheat sheet code. I've got to look it up right away because I'm curious where it's from or whatever. But we learned doing our blind tasting that, you can prejudge a whiskey based on just where it's from. And what you guys do at the Society, the way they are, so they're cask strength and so unique. You end up with unicorns that you're never going to be able to get again. And that's some of the hard part. I wish I had the income where I could just be like, get me one of every one as they come available.
Well, 2, there's some guys that buy 2 bottles. Everything that comes out, they buy 2. So they have one to drink and one to
I'll never be able to do
save.
that. Yeah. My wife would kill me if I bought 2. Although
a question, Ben, from Whiskey Throttle. Is the SMWS trying to have partner bars in each state and liquor store partners?
That's a great question.
I'm a bit disconnected from the partner bar relationships, but I'll just tell you, in the few weeks that I've been on board, learning a lot about kind of some of the initiatives, there's a lot going on. We're about to do a lot of exciting things this coming year. Obviously, I'm trying to bring some new ideas too, but the team has a list of ideas that they're just slowly rolling out. And so the idea here is we want to grow the Society. We want to get more people interested in the Society, joining the Society, making this community as thriving as it possibly can. And so we're really going through the process of working with all our partner bars that are existing right now and trying to understand how we can make the experience better for members who come in. And so I can't speak to exactly, if we're going to have bars in every state. I think that is an ideal situation. But right now we're kind of very selective, kind of globally with which partner bars. We just want, to really have our whiskey in bars that really draw whiskey lovers. It's kind of what we're looking at. So taking it step by step, but I think hopefully down the road you'll see a lot of activity on that front.
I'm going to point out real quick that Spirited Tracy is in, and that's Glenfiddich Tracy. We may have to call up Tracy for a little song to end the show with.
Or joke.
Yeah, both. A joke and a tune.
We'll have to see. So to this, let's nose it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it's 64.5% ABV, which is pretty high. Refill sherry puncheon, distilled on the 31st of May, 2004.
For a Highland Park, there's a lot of peat on the nose.
Yeah.
Peat, kind of a medicinal peat. There is a sweetness, almost like a lemon meringue.
Right. It's got a sweet, kind of a citrusiness to it.
Lemongrass.
That maltiness coming through. Clean, crisp.
I took a very small sip of mine neat, and I immediately added some water because it is 64.5%. It is
like
hot.
it neat.
Yeah, if you like this neat, it's interesting. I'm holding it up to see if refill sherry puncheon, obviously very, very light in color. Obviously all natural color, non-chill filtered, very light. And if you're going to make an initial judgment based on that, but really the sherry notes are there. But neat at this strength, it's just so wild and raw, and it's like a heavily oaked Chardonnay on steroids. It's kind of what
Now, I'll say though too, even as I've stepped this down, I've never necessarily got sherry. I've never got the plum, but the more of the sweetness and kind of a wine, almost more of a white wine influence comes through with the more water that I've added.
Okay.
The lower that I've brought the ABV, the more sweetness has come out with it.
I can see that. I've got a lovely hard wood. That oak wood just really, yeah, sorry. That did come out bad, didn't it? Wow. I didn't even mean that. And it came out wrong. I apologize. I was like, why is Ben laughing? Oh, I know why he's laughing. So no, but the oak right in the mid palate is phenomenal.
Yeah, on the palate, right? And you're still drinking it neat, right?
Oh yeah, I'm not going to add any water to it.
Okay.
A couple comments real quick. Tom R. was looking for you at Benny's World of Whiskey event, but he said he couldn't see you, and he heard that you're hard to miss, being very tall.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm sorry, the wood comments are coming in now. No, unfortunately, I wasn't at the Benny's World of Whiskeys. That's a great event, by the way. Every year, that's our biggest retailer. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Benny's. They put it on. It's really affordable. Just a great vibe every time. This year, I was just kind of crazy with little things going on here on this end. But sorry, Tom. Love to meet you sometime. Have a whiskey together.
And Richie Z is asking if SMWS bottles will eventually make it to California. Are you not in California?
Yeah, we're definitely in California.
Yeah.
I think Los Angeles. I mean, the whole West Coast. There's a really thriving whiskey culture. Obviously, Southern California going up the coast all the way up to Washington. So we have a lot of members out there in California.
Got a quick cowbell?
Yeah, we do. Must have been the oak in the mid palate.
No. Read the comment.
Let me see. What is it? I hadn't seen it.
From Winnie Quinn, somebody new tuning in. We haven't seen you before. Thank you very much.
All right. Too bad Bart's married. That's what I'm talking about.
Hello from New York City. Love you guys. Too bad Bart is married.
We would enjoy the peat together if I wasn't. We could still enjoy the peat together in a platonic sense.
I bet that's Swami. I bet Swami created a
fake profile.
A fake profile.
Right. Keep going, Swami.
Just couldn't. Thank you. Thank you, Winnie.
Winnie, keep it coming. I need all the love I can get.
All right. Let's get back to the 12-year-old Highland Park.
Well, I'm still curious, how tall is Ben?
I'm 6'5".
Wow. 6'6", baby.
6'6" with shoes on.
It's the German thing.
You're also German?
Oh, yeah. Huge.
A huge German. Yeah.
Yes, huge German. Yeah, the great grandfather did not want to
actually
fight.
looking at your guys'
Related
facial features.
Yeah.
If you were standing side by side, some people might think you were brothers. Just looking at you're the older one for sure.
Thank you.
But
thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, no, the great grandfather did not want to fight for the Kaiser in the First War. So when he was 12, he hopped the ship, either illegally or paid. We're not sure. So
who's more German, you or Horst Leuning?
Oh, definitely Horst. Although there are a couple Bruncheens, my last name's still living in Berlin. So, but yeah, Horst has got me. I'm 3 generations removed. But it's the height thing, baby. I'm telling you.
All right. Let's come back to Highland Park. Walk us through the color coding now, because we see, well, and you've got a few. Here's an older bottling with no color coding stripe. This was the romantic inspiration from, last year when we met up. So the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society has now gone to a color coding on its bottling, and the color coded stripe as well.
Yes.
Yes, a lot of changes that have been made on the packaging itself, and that's all for the purpose of really providing more guidance for selecting the whiskey to enjoy. I have here, well, you have it there too, but the old bottle, and this is from the same distillery. It might be too bright, but this is kind of the old labeling, and it has the big number and then some tasty notes there. So we've gone into this more colorful. Obviously, the logo is a little bit different, but we have different colors around the neck here, and then also on the actual number itself and the stripe to indicate the flavor profile. So all our whiskeys are broken down into core flavor profiles. A lot of members say, hey, look, I'm interested in whiskey. I don't know everything. I don't have a YouTube channel about whiskey, but I'm still interested. That level. They want a bit of guidance. And so if you like peated whiskey, as you do, Bart, we have a peated profile. This is the green colors. And interestingly, though, we also have a lightly peated category and a heavily peated category. This is a lighter green. You can't really see it. I don't know if you can, but yeah, the number, the H statement is enlarged a little bit. And a cool little trick that I actually learned recently, I had no idea, is that we'll pull this out. And I don't know if you can see this. I know the lighting is kind of bright, but we have these lines that go through the bottles, and they're actually in different placements from kind of left to right here.
Yeah.
And what's cool about this is if you're buying multiple bottles, as a lot of members are, you want to do a tasting, the direction of the line indicates where to start and finish the tasting. So in the further left, it's more kind of the lighter, maybe fruit forward flavor profiles. As you go this way, the line is on the far right side, which is the peated. And typically when you do a tasting, you kind of want to end on the peated note.
Yes.
So, if you have a few bottles, you say, hey, I want to do a tasting for my friend. That's kind of a little indicator right there.
Wow. I had not even noticed the placement move. All right, not on the rum. That is cool.
Yeah. That's good. I had not realized that either.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben, John Post is asking, if I join, would the bottles be taxed here in Washington State? How do the taxes go? I know when you do buy a bottle, we can talk about that later, you're going to pay shipping, you're going to pay taxes. What state are you paying taxes in? New York?
In New York. Yeah. I'm here in Chicago, but our business is based out of New York. And so you're paying New York taxes, 8.75%, I want to say. The shipping is interesting. Our shipping and handling, I think initially can seem as a bit pricey, but it's to ship one bottle, it depends on where you're located. To ship a second bottle, it's usually only $1 or $2 more than that. So a lot of members will buy multiple bottles or wait until there's something just to save on the shipping. So I should mention too on that point, I guess we haven't really been talking about this, but if you're thinking about joining, if you're not a member, we're doing something right now where if you do sign up for a base membership, it's $99 right now. You can also do a bundle, which we have a bottle assigned for that as well. It's $150. But we're also doing a promo if you want a different bottle right now. If you do join, you can actually get a $25 gift card to then use towards the purchase of your first bottle. So we should talk about that later, but we can mention that, or maybe down below in the caption. But if you enter Scotch Test Dummies in the notes when you actually go and join on the checkout phase, if you enter Scotch Test Dummies, we'll shoot you a gift card for $25 for your first bottle.
There you go. Good. That's awesome.
Tom R is asking about shipping to Illinois right now. Is there some sort of a mix-up going there?
No, yeah, we've just resolved that. There's been some issues with just state liquor distribution going on the last couple of months.
With what? Fake liquor?
State by state. There have been a few states that have been kind of just restructuring some things. We resolved that. I'm here in the state of Illinois. We've just resumed shipping to Illinois. There was a little delay. We pushed back the memberships of all members in the state of Illinois and some other states, so that, basically, I think we had an issue for about a month or two where we had to hold on to some orders. So we actually extended everyone's annual membership for that duration, the month or two. But we've just resumed. A lot of what we do right now is actually take orders over the phone. We have our website, but a lot of times we have some things. They're older casks. People like to call in for those, and so right now the shipping in Illinois is a little bit custom. I should say a manual process, but we've just finally resumed. It was a process, so I'm sorry if he's in Illinois, had to deal with that. But we're
I keep adding water to my smoked lemonade plum, and it keeps getting sweeter and sweeter. The peat is still there. I told you beforehand, Ben, it really reminds me, I've got a 20-year-old Springbank that it really reminds me of. Just the amount of peat and the citrus sweetness that's in there with it.
Right. It's like a toasted peat. It's not that ashtray peat. It's a good toasted, warming peat. Leaves a beautiful velvety coating for the mouthfeel. And the finish just lingers like a real nice peat should. Yeah. It just kind of settles in and just hangs out. It doesn't give me the leathers or any of the ashtrays. It's just this beautiful, smooth, smoked, just that nice toasted smoked flavor just lingers and trails and lingers some more. It's beautifully done.
I'm enjoying this a lot more. I think it looks like your fill level, you guys have been going after a little harder than I have, but
I did. Well, I went to it a few times, and then I sent 4 ounces. I had a 4 ounce
sample.
Yeah, a 4 ounce sample jar that we poured out for Bart. So,
with cast strength bottlings, I've just come to find that the first couple pours are very different from, once it's open. And usually I can't think of one where it's been better off the bat, but usually the first couple of drams for me out of any bottle hasn't been as good as it's become. So like right now I'm drinking this. This has probably been open for about a week. This is probably the most enjoyable. Obviously you guys are here and maybe that's the experience, but this is the most enjoyable dram. I'm getting more of the flavors of the cask itself. It's not as hot as it was. So I always advise people, if you get one, if you're members or any cast strength bottling, you open it up, try not to make a judgment off the first dram or two. Let it kind of sit, go through the experience, and it'll really evolve. So.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. And this one's very good. And
delicious.
To me, I like it. I like this one with several drops of water. Just bring it down, brings out more of the sweetness. At 64.5%, that's pretty stinking hot.
It's hot. What I like to do is just take in just a little bit of a smaller sip. And then just kind of let it marry and mellow on the palate. I'm trying not to say oak or hard.
Well, I think y'all nailed it. There's no right or wrong way. It's just that's pretty bold of you to really drink this neat. I'll even say that I tasted neat, but I really get more enjoyment when bringing it down to closer to commercial drinking strength. But
sure, well, that's the nice thing with the society bottlings though too, or cast strength in general. Is I loved actually, this one I could see taking an ounce or two and we will even here when we're testing something, we'll play with it, bring it down, kind of lower it down and see how those taste profiles change. But I also love the bursts of flavor that great cask bottlings give you as you're sipping on.
I think the freedom of choice, the ability to choose, I really believe that there's an ideal strength for every whiskey and there's an ideal strength for every palate. And I think that can vary depending on the day, what's on your palate, if it's oversaturated from food, And so I just love, and a lot of people think this is a nerdy thing, and it very well is, but I love just, experiencing the whiskey at different strengths and really locking that into my own personal preference. And I encourage everybody to find their own personal, strength to.
Very much so. Yeah, you're able to customize it to you.
Yeah.
And I would say too, I haven't seen the price on this. This hits the outturn in a couple of days. Just going from experience in the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, this is probably 120 to 140 range, maybe 150. It's worth every penny.
Mm.
Well, you seem very experienced. This is actually 125.
Great price.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think which I think is exciting. I think when you think about what it is at the strength, if you are adding water, if you're not Bart, if you're a normal human, like if you're adding water, you get a lot of the longevity that you get from the bottle. That's 64.5% is great. So you factor that in the value, and just overall, the distillery is a very famous one. I think we're all familiar with their 12-year-old variant, but this is a totally different experience.
Right.
I think when you add water, it is somewhat reminiscent, but it's non-chill filtered.
Mm.
It's really just, I think, what I would want it to be every single day.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd even say it's reminiscent. I mean, with just the amount of peat that's in it. I haven't had a Highland Park that peated.
I would say it's reminiscent.
Valkyrie has some good peat,
but that unchill filtered, that cast strength, it's more viscous, it's more oily on my palate, and that is how it stands alone as well, because it is reminiscent, definitely, but it's just so powerful and so, I mean, it's like charging forward.
Yeah, that Arcadian peat is lighter in character, and it's a little sweeter than Isla peat. Or it's a really unique variety of peat, but at this strength, it's as intense. It's really, again, with the ability to add water, it's really as intense as you want it to be.
Right.
Amy W is commenting, "Hey everyone, 8 days, no internet, and lived, but missed all of you. George is still unpacking. Did you kick him out?" She must have kicked him out.
Kicked him. Just said, "Get out. Get out." He probably said something bad about the Dummies, and she was like, "I ain't having that here. Get out."
Maybe they moved.
Sounds like a new house.
They must have. Yeah. Did they move?
Yeah, I don't know. I was.
You should have hollered. We'd have come helped you.
Bam. We're cheap. Pizza and whiskey.
Yeah.
Cast strength.
Tom R is asking Ben if you will try the Whistle Pig Farm Stock 002 that Whiskey with a View helped create.
Wow.
Well, first of all, yes, of course. Nate's a good friend of mine. He's a great guy. Funny story about, and so short answer is yes, I will. I don't drink a lot of American whiskey. I just 9 out of 10 times I'll lean for a Scotch, but I very much enjoy American whiskey. I do enjoy Whistle Pig too. Nate's a good friend of mine, and if he's involved in that project, I know he has industry experience. He has a great palate. Funny enough, Nate and I typically don't agree on any whiskey. And we have, our palates are on opposite ends of the, yeah, exactly. There you go. Just like, but I'm very much a Bart, and he's very much a Scott. Like if you had to name that, But
I love it. That's perfect.
I like really intense. Anyway, we're spending too much time on this question, but it's fun.
I don't know. It's Sunday after Easter. Everybody's got full bellies. They're sitting down. They're watching. A lot of comments coming in. Glad to be here and enjoying the chat.
That's a great description.
My point is, it's great to have a friend. We have a mutual respect, as you two do, for our own interest in whiskey and our kind of our knowledge of it. But he and I typically, if he likes a whiskey, I love it. If I love a whiskey, he doesn't like it. So it's funny. I'm interested to see if he's involved in any sort of barrel picking or selection of curating a whiskey. Yeah, well, I like it. So that's a long-winded answer for absolutely nothing.
Simeon de la Vecchia is asking if, in our experience, does whiskey taste better as you let it sit after you have opened the bottle? Generally, for the most part, I would say it's not. I don't know that's the case in every whiskey or every bottling. We have noticed on many occasions a bottle does change, and I think most people as well would say a bottle does change, even from when it's freshly opened to when it's at this level, to when it's at this level, to when it's here. I mean, it's constantly changing.
Now, I've had whiskeys that blow me away the second I sip them, but then I've had other ones. Glenlivet Nadura, if it hasn't aged or opened up and breathed a little bit, I don't enjoy it nearly as much.
Right.
The first time I tried that was Scott had a bottle that was more than half gone, and we reviewed it. I was blown away. And as soon as I got a chance, they don't have it here in Kansas. I was in Texas. I bought 2 or 3 of them. I rushed home. I tried it, and I was like, what the heck?
Yeah,
this isn't the same thing. And then I let it sit for a month, came back. It's the same thing. It just needed to open.
Right.
So, yeah.
I bought a bottle of the, I was in Taiwan.
Sorry.
Whoops, sorry.
That was going, and then I couldn't shut her down. Go ahead,
Shut
Ben.
it down.
No, just to that point, well, we should acknowledge Eric first. That's
Yes.
Yeah.
Cowbell, more cowbell.
for Eric Broda Markle.
Yep. Happy Easter to all my drinking dummies. We like the way you talk here.
$10 super chat. Thank you, Eric.
That is beautiful.
So okay, we were on the whiskey opening up. Do you want to move on to the rum and talk rums a little bit?
Yeah. So obviously, it's just explained it. So we're going to be tasting a single cask rum, and so as I mentioned, we're really branching out beyond just Scotch whiskey, doing rums from all different countries. From Jamaica, Nicaragua, Panama, Trinidad, you name it. We currently have 5 different rums here in the United States. This is one of them. I actually have a different one here, but Scott and we were talking earlier, and I asked you about rum, and you said, I'm not that interested. And I said, you know what? Traditionally, I'm not really that interested. I'm not a big rum drinker. I don't really know nearly as much about it. And you said you said I like something that's not as sweet, or maybe you made a comment saying rum's a bit too sweet. So I picked one of the 5 that are available that is, in my opinion, kind of the most whiskey-like. It's very herbaceous and earthy. Kind of ideal for more of like a summer nighttime, like a post-dinner rum. Since I don't have one, I'm going to pour a different one just because I want to be drinking.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'll read this.
Now,
so this Huntmaster, the R8.2, it's spicy without being spiced, licorice, tobacco leaf, which I love the sound of that already, and cedarwood, opens up to an orange, marmalade, and toffee. And this is Nicaraguan rum.
And it's an 18-year-old.
Wow, yeah, 18-year right there on the new label, one of 315. Wow.
Now, before Tom R says anything, he's a big rum guy as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Go Tom.
Yep.
Well, Tom, you want to taste? I have another one here. This is a if you're in Chicago and anybody wants to taste it, maybe I shouldn't say that because there's only one bottle here. But hey, Tom, for you, if you want to come taste this, this is a 16-year-old Jamaican rum. All of these, by the way, I should mention, were all the casks that are available are American Oak ex-bourbon barrels. So how many? This is one of 214. How many does it say there?
Yeah, this is 315.
315. So interestingly, all of these have actually been distilled in the Caribbean, different countries, and then shipped over to the UK and matured in the UK, which my understanding is a lot of rum is in fact matured in the UK. So all American Oak ex-bourbon barrels matured in the UK. So this is a Jamaican rum, a bit sweeter in character, but at 16 years old, it's really developed a lot of unique flavors.
Well, this is new for me as well, because I think I've tried in the past. You've gotten a hold of 2 rums that were bourbon barrel aged, and they were.
Well, no, one was port.
Okay, you're right. You're right. One was port.
Something else, and they were okay. They were still a little sweet. And I did when Ben said something about trying one of the SMWS rums. I was like, not a big rum guy. If you want to talk about it, let's take a look at one. I said, I don't care for the sweetness of rum. So I popped this one about a week ago and tried it. And I told Ben pre-show, I said, this is probably the best rum I've had.
Wow. See, I haven't even tried this yet.
It is very light on the sweet. And I said, it's more like a whiskey with a hint of rum, or that's been rum finished. So we'll go from there.
Yeah. Tom R mentioned, something I've learned more and more recently as I'm getting a bit more into rum is that every country producing rum in the Caribbean is as unique as every region of Scotland. There's a unique style embraced by each. The Jamaican rum is very much funky, kind of like that, almost like the Isla of Scotland, not because it's smoky, but just because it's a bit more unique and funky, if you will. But that one's obviously for Nicaraguan.
See, I get a touch of a floral scent and a sweet underlayment.
Oh, yeah, really sweet. I mean, the rum is there, some of the molasses.
Okay.
I don't know what else to
Yeah, brown sugar.
call it. Brown sugar, good. And this one was higher ABV as well, though, too. 57.5.
You know, I did pass your mom coming down into your studio here, and I believe I wouldn't be shocked if she forced her way
She tries to pop in.
Yeah. And if she brings cheesecake, either way, she's invited, but that's like a double invite. Wow.
Who was she in one of your episodes? Your mom? Both mom.
Yeah, we've had both moms on, and then Scott's mom's also made an impromptu on a live show.
We had it's Chad and Sarah from It's Bourbon
That's
Night was
right.
on, and my mom, I don't know if she realized for sure what was going on.
I
Stuck her
think-
head in.
She's semi-famous. I think she knew what she was doing. Oh, I didn't know there was a show with all the lights. Hello. Hello. Amy W.
So again, the ABO.
Yeah.
And I saw her comment. They were moving George's parents.
Got it.
So George is still helping them get unpacked.
Got it. And they say Happy Easter.
Shout out to Amy, $25 super chat. Thank you
Woo!
very much, Amy.
Thank you. Wow.
The Whiskey Scout is pointing out 57.5% rum. Yes.
Mm.
And it's delicious.
And I do get the licorice. I love the licorice.
Really.
Yeah. That dark black licorice. My dad would eat the licorice and he would pick that I always liked the cherry nibs or something. He would go with the strongest black licorice he could because I think we left it alone as kids.
Yeah.
And I get it. It's like a little bit of that blackjack gum too.
Whiskey Untitled is asking if we're drinking Jamrock. That's what Ben has.
Yeah, I'm drinking the rum named Welcome to Jamrock, the 16-year-old Jamaican rum, and you're drinking the
Hunt Master.
Yeah.
I love that
18-year-old Nicaraguan.
Yeah. See, yeah. Ben knew, so he sent me the Hunt Master, baby.
Maybe because of the high ABV and almost more whiskey-like presence of this rum. It is still sweet. There's some of the rum notes are there. The molasses, the brown sugar, the black licorice.
Yes. And I'm with you. The molasses is there, but it's not like a syrupy molasses.
It's not a syrupy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the marmalade. Yeah, it definitely, good choice, Ben, because it definitely, yeah, I don't know how to, it's almost hard to explain because it has some of those sweet characteristics of a rum, but with all the bourbon kind of oakiness going on at the same time. It's a little bit dry, slight astringency, not a lot, just a bit. Wow.
George did say Happy Easter to all.
All.
If we didn't say it with the super
To
chat.
all, not just the dummies.
That's right. And Tom R is asking her, he wants you to make, or at least somebody make sure to state that the SMWS rums, there's no sugar added and no color added.
Yeah, correct.
Beautiful.
We take the approach, very strict approach, no artificial colorant, no filtration on anything. This one here is a pure pot still rum as well. But again, venturing into rums, I realize kind of like whiskey, it's common practice to alter the spirit in various ways, different ways, of course, with rum. But we try to keep everything as au natural as it's possible. So straight from the cask is really the approach.
Wow. This
Bart
is
likes
amazing.
Bart likes all natural also.
Yeah, this is true. But this is amazing. I'm going to be honest with you. I have seen the rum releases that they've shown and kind of when they even talked about what they were going to do, and I didn't have an interest in rum. And this is blowing me away. I'm still the Pete head, but when Scott said, "Oh yeah, we're going to be trying a rum," I remember thinking, "Well, I'm glad I'm going to be trying a rum because I haven't been interested at all." But this is delicious.
You feel guilty about it, don't you? I certainly do. Like I feel like I'm cheating, on whiskey. Like,
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, I was like, okay, that's cool. It's something different. I'll try it. But I've been lying in bed thinking about rum lately, and I feel really guilty about it.
Oh boy.
No, it is. I think. Do you agree? It's almost more of a whiskey type. Feel.
Well, you know what this is like. Well, I'm going to make rum drinkers mad, but I feel like this is a grown-up rum. Because I mean, I've been, you know, I mean, I've taken vacations where there's rum everywhere and there's rum punch and it's like a cheap, sweet molasses drink that's very nice when you're on the beach with a bunch of nachos. But this is like a grown-up rum. This is a connoisseur's drink with a lot of layered flavors in there that are surprising. I mean, that licorice, that marmalade,
is this Huntmaster? Is this a newer one or is this an older bottle? Is it currently available? Do you know?
It's currently available. We released we released one cask, a 25-year-old Trinidad, last year, and then we came out with 4 at the same time just a couple months ago, just in January. And so I think they're all still available. There might be 30 bottles of that one left. But it looks like it, yeah. And ideally, we'll be coming out with more down the road too.
Aqua Vitae, Roy, for those that are watching, is asking how the prices of the rum stack up against the scotches from the SMWS.
Well, it's hard to compare. Like, you know, how does the price compare? I mean, I'll just tell you, like this one right here, this Welcome to Jamrock, this 16-year-old, you know, cask strength Jamaican rum is $185. And that Huntmaster, the 18-year-old Nicaraguan, is at a higher ABV, is $195, I want to say. So they're definitely, you know, from a pure cost per bottle standpoint, they're not inexpensive rums by any means. But you know, within the average price of a whiskey that the members are buying is actually lower than that if you look at everything on our site. But I mean, if you do compare this to a whiskey of this age and strength, it's actually lower than I think what a lot of the whiskeys are.
Wow.
I think if you are into rums though and you love rums, if you bought that bottle, I don't think you'd be disappointed.
No, if you're into rums, you're going to be. You've already probably bought 5 of these. If you haven't ever tried a rum done beautifully, pick one up. Pick this one up. This is very good. I expected, because Ben, I'm a lot like you. I lean toward Scotch, and then on the American front, I lean toward rye. I like bourbon, and there's some unbelievably good bourbons out there, but there's a lot of bourbons that just kind of fall into a similar profile. And I find rye spicier and more of a slap in the face and are tricked out and done differently. So I lean, even in bourbons, I lean toward higher rye mash bills. But I feel like I always come home to Scotch, and I really enjoy the subtleness and all the different varieties from all the regions. And of course, I'm a huge peat head, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely a refined, interesting, and a standalone taste that's coming from an 18-year rum. I
mean, I think to your point, like our bar, I also like to come home at times. You know, I like to venture out, try new things, but then I always come home. We all have our own home. Shameless plug, obviously, about the society. What's unique about it is we have this tasting panel that blind taste tests everything prior to bottling.
Yeah.
If a certain spirit meets a certain standard of quality and uniqueness for members to then go out and enjoy. And so, you know, everything's going to be good. Like, I've never had a bad whiskey, but listen, and I have some great whiskeys from other independent bottlers, but there's always been more of a risk factor. Sometimes I have some great ones. Sometimes I get some not great ones. Everything consistently has been excellent, in my opinion. And that was really why I wanted to join this company. I really believe in that. But you can venture off into new things and still keep it safe a little bit, because you know that there's a blind panel of experts, tasting things blind. Whoa.
Right. Oh, you're good. That's usually me saying it like that.
They're not blind, but and they might be dipping their glasses in plastic. But anyway, but the point is they're tasting everything blind. And so you have some assurance that, look, it's going to be good no matter what. So if you want to try something like rum, 5 different examples of fantastic rums, all very different.
Your tasting panel or the society's tasting panel, they're also the ones, don't the names come out of their tasting notes as well?
Yeah, I mean, the panel is interesting. That's really kind of the core of what I think the society is built on. I mean, in my opinion, from the whiskey side, it's, yeah, they're really kind of coming together, tasting things blind, coming up with notes, the names for the bottlings as well, which are always a lot of fun.
Hey, a couple things real quick. Claire is calling us out on the rum and the prices. He says $180, $195 for a rum.
That's expensive.
WTF.
Yeah, that's high. We
don't need to explain what WTF is. But yeah, Claire's a whiskey drinker, and he's the same. He'd feel like he was cheating on his whiskey if he had a rum. So
well, try one of these. Just pick one of them.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, because it'll surprise you.
And then Spirited Tracy has to go. She's probably already gone, but she left us with a bad joke.
Oh, great. Please.
She says a furniture store keeps calling, but all she wanted was a one-night stand.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
I know.
Oh,
you know,
call
we need to get
Tracy.
We'll get Tracy, and we'll just make some little video clips.
That's nice.
Send them to us. You know, with a bad joke, we'll close out our live streams with a bad joke.
Yeah, that's
Tracy.
a neat idea.
Yeah,
I like you're thinking good. That is wonderful. Oh man.
Are you ready for the samples?
Oh God, yeah.
Should
I just
we move
poured
on?
some more of the rum, but yeah,
we're actually coming. Well, do you want to?
No, keep her going. No. You know why?
We're coming up on the hour mark.
Oh, see, that's a good show.
Ben,
yeah, read that off because I'm going to tell you, I know that distillery right there.
Do you have these as well, Ben?
Yeah, I just poured those. It's separately. I want to send you guys a couple samples, single cask whiskeys that are just different in character and flavor as well, just to kind of experience the variety that we offer.
Man cave, we're getting ready to go bell. Woo!
Keith over at the Malted Man Cave, $9.99.
Probably like the joke.
Nothing like Bart's long legs for days, he says.
Thank you. This is a good love day.
We could close out each show with a picture of Bart's long legs for days.
I don't know if that would be a award winner.
Swami would like it.
Yeah, Swami'd be all over that.
Okay, you sent over a sample. It's a cask number 10.118. So distillery number 10 is the 118th cask that you've gotten from them. The title of it is Enthralling Pink and Peat Intensity.
Wow.
So this is a whiskey that was just released, I want to say actually 2 weeks ago, about a day or two over 2 weeks ago. And, you know, every month on the first week of the month, we release our new outturn. Every other week of the month, so the third week, we release what we call the digital outturn, which is about 3 or 4 additional whiskeys as well. And this is a whiskey we released, and I actually did a live tasting for Instagram, and I had planned this to go live a few hours after it was for sale. And by that time I did this live stream, it was actually all sold out.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, so it's sold out in hours. It's a 10-year-old peated Isla whiskey, as you mentioned, and 9 years in American oak ex-bourbon in a hogshead. And then it was actually transferred to a different cask, and it was a first fill port barrique. So I send the sample because obviously, listen, I know you guys love peat. I love peat. We just had an Orcadian peat. This is traditional Isla peat. But it also kind of plays in the fact that we're venturing out into this double maturation a little bit, taking a single cask whiskey, then putting it in a second cask, and just kind of
play around with it. And a 10 is a Bunnahabhain.
And it's the peated variant, and the distillery does. The traditional maltings are I think peated to a very low ppm, about 5 to 10 max. They don't mention that, but there is a slight element of peat. But this is a fully peated line.
Now I would point out that Bart likes to know the distillery. This one's got 10 on it. He had to look it up.
Yeah,
I'm more in line with the SMWS. Give me the number and let me taste the juice.
I've got a cheat sheet. You probably can't see it now. It won't show up. It's got all the peated distilleries by their society numbers. So, and some of which I know kind of by heart anyway. But oh, hey, watch out, by heart. Go because 29 is the Lefroy.
I don't know if it's Sierran or Kieran May. 10 pounds.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
That's like $200. That's $200.
Oh, wait.
That's like $200 US. Just kidding. Although, wow.
Wait.
Woo, more pounds.
Aqua Vitae, yeah, joining in also.
Throw it in.
This is a wee dram for Ben as an apology for not following up recently. Hope his new role keeps going strong. Another great Sunday live, dummies.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're turning it up, Ben. Good job. I'm serious. My brother lives in Chicago, and I'm like, I need to get out there and see the bro. And then I'm like, hey, we got to go see this other tall German guy.
Yeah.
Can't be too far. And my brother be like, oh, okay. So,
well, I just took a DNA test. I'm also Nigerian, so that's actually my preferred,
beautiful
heritage, 1.4%. So
did you use 23andMe or did you use Ancestry.com?
No, it's called My Heritage. It was something actually that Tullamore do is kind of as a marketing campaign, as a blended whiskey. They have this marketing initiative called The Beauty of Blend. Basically, their whiskey's blended and we as people are as well. So they gave me this DNA kit and I took the test and everything. Yeah, it's clever, isn't it? I thought it was pretty.
It is. I love it.
So no, like I'm 1.4% Nigerian, but I thought I was much more German than I really was. I found out some interesting things from that.
Perfect. Yeah, I found out I had the highest percentage of the Germanic and French region, and then from a grandfather, I had a lot of Scotch Irish. So, and like a 0.6 Neanderthal, Scott. I bet you saw that coming.
Tom R just said, I love this Tom R's comment. He said 1.4%, so that's 2.8 proof Nigerian.
There you go.
Well, look at Eric Waite. He did a DNA test and he's 46% ABV.
Woo, sniper. That's the sniper.
I'll tell you, so this is a Bunnahabhain. I don't get the peat.
Oh, yeah.
I get that Bunnahabhain, the unpeated Bunnahabhains kind of have that salty, kind of grassy, malty character.
But do you get a little bit of, it's like a wet soil.
Maybe. Yeah. Are you getting peat though?
Yeah, that's the peat though for me. It's that. Yeah, you're right though. There's the brine saltwater spray. But then there's that earthen, and that's the peat. It's the earthy, wet, damp, soggy soil.
I always find that peat, they're like three core, if you want to call them enemies of peat, and that is time. The longer a peated whiskey matures in a cask, the more mellow that the peat element becomes. Water, obviously, well, for the most part. And then like a wine cask, this has obviously been transferred to a first fill port wine barrique. And that the dark, fruity flavors and aromas of the wine tend to mask some of that, which is why I personally love peated whiskeys that have spent some time in wine casks. It's just an explosion of different flavors.
Yes. Oh. It's like one ding.
That's from Claire.
Claire the Third. He's a Bart fan.
He gave $5 so you can buy some more tube socks to put around your neck.
There we go. Yeah, Claire's a big Bart fan. That's all we're gonna say there. He's always got a little shot across the bow. Claire, I'm going to tell you about a sinking pirate ship that's on fire, and a cannon has just released its last salvo. Boom. That's a peated right there.
Is this the one that you was talking about sold out in a couple hours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sold out quickly. I think port wine or just port cask are very unique.
Dang.
Yeah.
Dang. This is good. See, now and I can't complain because I want like 3 bottles of it, but I got to be thrilled that I've been able to sample it. Wow.
Oh my.
Yes.
Wow, that is good.
Let me see if I can peg it without getting dirty again.
Boy, the peat is in there, the earth is in there,
yes.
The salt, that port finish,
a touch of pepper.
Sweet, it's so sweet.
Woo. See, this is what peat does to me. I can go all zen.
There's still some in the bottle.
I'm gonna
put this.
I will fight you. We'll be in a fist fight.
Here you go.
I sent those 2 samples, and I chose one for Bart and one for Scott. I mean, obviously to be enjoyed by all of us, but
yes,
like Scott's gonna like this one, and Bart's gonna like this one. But
I
don't know anymore.
You are gifted. You need to be on the panel of tasting and just because
no.
What happened? We lose him?
No, Tom R is pointing out that this bottle, this Bunnahabhain, is the one he was trying to buy when he got shut down by the shipping issues.
Never mind. You know what? It's just average.
Yeah, it's not that good, Tom.
Not. Yeah, the version you would have gotten in Illinois wouldn't have been as good.
Probably not the same.
Well, two things to Tom. Okay, this is a message for Tom, and I guess for all members or not members, future members, I should say. You can always call us. Our team can always place orders over the phone. The shipping issue, again, we just finally resolved that. But logistically, give us a call. We can always try to find something, ship it to a different location, or put something on hold for a little limited time. Also, more exciting than the boring shipping comment is we're coming out with some phenomenal casks, not too dissimilar to a lot of things that we're tasting today. And so, when I took this job, the first thing I said was, let me see what's coming out this year. Of course, I was like, show me, hand over the keys. And so, I think I'll just explain this for people in the U.S.
That's good.
Current the society, the U.S. branch has a new owner as of last year. The new ownership is after taking over. We kind of went through some inventory that was existing right now, but now we've really caught up and we're really driving the bull here with unique casts and choosing exactly what to bring over. So we have full control over the cast selection and just looking through it. Like I couldn't be more excited. And that's really, as a whiskey lover, I'm just so passionate about it.
Oh yeah.
The list of what's to come. I think a lot of members are be really, really pleasantly surprised.
Oh, you're like a kid in the candy store.
Oh, it's a dream. Trust, absolutely. Yeah.
Hold on. We got some cowbell rolling in. Woo!
Kieran May. I'm sorry, I don't know if that's a soft C or a hard C.
She'll let us know.
10
pounds, I think. Is it pounds? I'm so far away and I'm getting old.
Yep.
Could it be a euro? I think it's a pound. Wow. Yeah, kid in a candy store.
And Simeon is asking, have we thought about creating our own whiskey?
Oh.
Yes, but no.
Well, we keep hoping like John will decide to make a dummy compass box.
Have we talked about in the future if we did this or that, do we have the time right now or the
it wouldn't be far from this. It would be an Isla aged in some kind of sherry cask.
This is very good.
Yeah.
How old is this one, Ben?
The
Bunnahabhain.
The dark
10 years. 10 years. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. You don't have the bottle. So this is 10 years, 9 years in American Oak ex-bourbon hogshead, 1 year in first fill port wine barrique.
Oh, it's delicious.
God.
60.6%.
Woo.
This is one of 257 bottles. We got a lot less than that in the U.S. I think we had a small. It sold out, but we only had about 60 of them.
See, and I'm with you. One thing is they'll have the society will have a lot of older peat bottlings, and they're more expensive. But I'm with you. I like my peat so strong that I am usually looking for a younger bottling, and I'll pass on some of the older ones. Man, I must not have. Well, I probably wouldn't have jumped on it in the first 2 hours. But this is unbelievably delicious. Wow.
And thank you for sending that sample.
Oh my God, yes.
No problem.
I'm better if we're going to move on to the one that's more my palate.
Yeah, let's move on to
cleanse it a little bit.
Yeah.
Dark and dangerously good.
Did you want to pour what's left of that Bunnahabhain into my glass?
That's yours right there. You can have it.
I was talking about what's in your glass.
Oh, you bet you want that?
I was teasing. Yeah, I'll take it.
There you go.
Wow, that was a gift.
Yeah.
Thank you. If you want that in the sherry,
and you can even have the rest of it, which it's good. I would keep it, but I know when Bart gets to moaning like that, it's best to just let him finish.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Don't interfere with him.
So this last one is cask number 26.19 called Dark and Dangerously Good. Like the whiskey we just had, this is also double matured. It's a single cask that was it spent 20 years in an Oloroso sherry butt.
Oh, you are talking his language now.
And then it was transferred for another year into a Pedro Jimenez sherry punch.
I knew you were going to say Pedro.
Yeah.
This is what I knew was going to happen.
Actually, there were 2 butts. There were 2 butts in this, not a bunch in. So Oloroso sherry butt, and then 1 year in a first fill PX
Now look at that. That's what Scott poured me right there. That's the sample I got poured.
Well, happy Easter.
That's all right. I will sip it lightly and I will return the favor to you because I got a feeling that I'll be pouring some back into your glass. Scott's getting ready to have a moment.
We'll see.
Well, we'll see. You'll see, but I bet you.
I was distracted by pouring Bart his sample. You said this is a 20-year?
21 years old in total, 20 years in a Oloroso dry, the dry nutty Oloroso.
Wow.
And then 1 year in a very fruity, bright, lively. It's a first fill PX.
I don't know if the color will come through. It looks very rich.
I get a beautiful maltiness on the nose. Huh.
There is a sherry sweetness, but it's like a tinge of a different kind of sherry.
What I get just on the nose, it's not that. It was a little surprising. It's not exactly what I expected. I think of a 21-year-old that spent life in 2 different casks. I think of a very famous whiskey that I enjoy is the Glendronach 21-year-old Parliament.
Yes, love it.
Love that. That's obviously a blend, and this is a single cask. Well, 2 casks, but this is a very, I think, raw and tannic. Like you just get the European oak cask influence is really the driving element here. So I get like heavy notes of fresh pine needles, like evergreen trees, in addition to some walnuts and cinnamon.
Yes, yeah, I get that as well.
It's very raw and earthy.
It's not the traditional Oloroso with the plums and the raisins and the spices. I think maybe it's the mintiness, kind of that pine that's coming through with it.
56%, by the way, maybe.
Which is actually more reminiscent. I recently had it was one of the Glendronach single casks.
Oh yeah.
It was like a 23-year-old that was PX, and it had more of these notes. Was this one Oloroso or PX, or does it say?
20 in Oloroso, 1 in PX.
Huh.
Wow.
What's the distillery? Or do we need? I'll ask the people watching. If someone doesn't know, what was the cask number?
26.119.
26.
Wow. God.
Oh my, that is heavenly.
Yeah. Thick and rich.
Oh yeah, the dark sherries, they're there.
Do you get a little raspberry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of the lighter.
I get a little raspberry on the finish.
But the dark fruits are in there with it too, the plums.
Yeah.
More of like a hazelnut instead of an almond. Sometimes it's roasted almonds you'll get with the sherry, more of a hazelnut almost.
Wow.
Woo.
Yeah, that is strong. Now, I'm going to bring this down to see if I can get some more.
Waxy. Oh, actually, Aqua Vitae and Tom R is saying Klein Leash. Wow, did you say 21-year-old Klein Leash from Oloroso and PX casking? Wow. Yes.
Man.
This one came out, I want to say, last month. This is actually from my personal collection.
Oh, wow.
Before, but for those of you who are members, just get ready for a lot more this coming year of these older sherry matured whiskeys. It's something that a lot of people have been asking for. So this is not entirely unique to what's coming.
Wow, that is a great choice for Scott and me. That is delicious. Wow.
Yes.
When we get quiet, that's a good dram, especially me. Wow.
These are, we're on really our 4th different sample from the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. All outstanding, all delicious. 3 scotches, a rum. We've had Highland Park. We've had a Bunnahabhain. We've had a Klein Leash. Wow. Delicious.
Yeah.
What so talk the tasting board with the Scotch Malt Whisky Society.
I've got a question later too. Continue though.
What does that take do you want to get involved with that, or do you can you move into that area?
Yeah, how does that happen?
How does that happen?
First of all, that sounds like a dream job. I'd have to move to Scotland, and I have to.
Ooh, yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah, I mean, no, that's amazing. The tasting panel, look, it's made up of I'm a novice and relative. I mean, these are distillers and big time, expert tasting. Maybe down the road, 20 years of my life, somehow I'll have another life in Scotland and think about that. But I'm just having fun tasting it from a very from my approach. But what they do is, they're blind taste testing everything. Obviously, they don't know the distillery, they don't know anything about it, and they're kind of grading each whiskey. A lot of times, a whiskey will actually not pass the tasting panel's standards. They'll say, leave this one in the wood. That'll go back, and they'll say in the cask. A couple of years later, that same sample can come across the board. Sometimes they'll bottle a whiskey that's actually they've tasted 3 times over the course of several years, and now the warehouse has just expanded. I mean, they're doing everything from buying casks as is from a distillery to actually buying new mixed spirit in some instances too, and then really managing the cask on their own end. But now in some instances, when you taste a whiskey, sometimes, tell me if I'm wrong, but a lot of times when I'm tasting a whiskey, I'll taste something, I'll say, this is really good, but if only it had this, it would be phenomenal. There's kind of that only if, well, they're doing a lot of that. And so in the instance for this whiskey, it's been 20 years in Oloroso. I would imagine as is probably a fantastic whiskey. But that, they're just thinking, hey, if only we put this in PX for 1 year, it would be that much more complex. It would add that much more depth, flavor. And so that's kind of what they're doing now too. And so.
Wow. Yeah.
I should be going on now to see if this one still available?
No, this was from. No. Yeah. I know it's a tease. I wanted to send you guys some samples, and I have a few things that are available. I just want to I'm sorry, Scott.
No, there's no apology. You handpicked. You knew I would love one and he would love the other. Here, hold on. Let me return the favor. Right here. Yep. It is delicious, but I'm returning the favor.
I came on board obviously as a fellow whiskey geek. We're going to be providing a lot more context about the whiskeys that we come out with every month. Instead of just saying kind of with written reviews. On Tuesday, my colleague Amanda Victoria and I are doing sort of like this. We're doing a live tasting of six casks from the outturn.
Wow.
That 4226 being one of them. So every month we'll be doing live interactive tastings, answering questions just like we are here at the SMWS US YouTube channel. So the idea is we want, if you like this, Scott, I want to be able to provide more context of future bottlings every month, saying this is very similar to that previous one, or more similar to something that's just out on the streets that you can buy at your local retailer.
Now that's Amanda that also has, I forget what it's called. Isn't it like Amanda's Selection or something?
Yeah, so every month we have Amanda's Selection. It's one cask, kind of really a highlight, if you will. Interestingly, the 4226 is actually Amanda's Selection for this month of April coming. Well, we're now in April, coming out on Tuesday. So that's every month there's a new one. Will we see Ben's bottles one day? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm just kidding, but no. We're going to be, we'll be tasting these live and providing more context about them. I think video, like what you guys are doing, is a great way to just communicate the experience in a very genuine way. So I'll be tasting some of them for the first time live. I've had some of them here, but
that'd be great. Pass on to Amanda too if she ever wants to come on the show. We'd love to have her.
Yeah.
Now, question. I know I'm not fully up on it, but there's some Scotch Malt Whiskey Society clubs or bars that are physical locations that are in some key locations too. Is that correct? Or are those just kind of member bars? How does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. There are two things that we have in Edinburgh, which is where the society is based in Scotland, is kind of the spiritual home, is in Leith, which is the vault, and that's kind of where the warehouse is. You go in, if you're a member, you have to be a member. You present your ID card and you can access. It's a restaurant, tasting room. I mean, there's multiple locations there in Edinburgh for the society. There's also the Kaleidoscope Bar in London, which it's a members only part. And so that's, I think, if you're in the UK, you have the ability to really go to this amazing facility only for members. You can actually bring guests if you're a member as well, but to access it, you can go in. They have really kind of like this back wall behind me. just an absolute library of society bottlings that you can really just that is the candy store that the kids need to go to.
Yes.
And so beyond that, then we have partner bars across the world, and those are, we kind of into that earlier. Those are select bars that have a good whiskey crowd that you don't have to be a member to go to, and you can actually go and order the whiskeys off of a menu. So
beautiful.
I have to say, on the Dark and Dangerously Good, just picture white chocolate cheesecake with raspberry drizzle on it and a little dab of whipped cream. Fresh.
A dab.
Yes.
That was good. At some point, we're going to hang out with Roy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I want to hang out with Roy. I want to go to his recycling bin.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's I think it's time to wrap it up. We're at 1 hour and 17 minutes. It's been a great show. Well, I want to point out, okay, some people are going to say you guys like everything that the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society has done. I just want to point out one bottling I haven't necessarily cared for, but it's followed a trend, and that's a Bowmore. You got one, I think it's the Power and Elegance that you got.
Right.
And it's a Bowmore, and I have not cared for Bowmore.
You're not a Bowmore fan.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's just a different kind of twinge with it. Now, that's really, you bought a couple other bottlings, and you bought the Exotic Cargo,
as
well.
Those are the three.
The Bowmore one is still just a little off-putting.
Well, can I comment on that, Scott?
Yeah.
The great part about being an appreciator of whiskey from all distilleries for a company that has different casks coming and going every month, I can be totally honest about things. That bottling that you mentioned wasn't a favorite of mine either. I think it's not a bad whiskey, and I'll tell you, a lot of members have commented that they absolutely love it. Like they love it. It wasn't really for me. And I'll just say this, whether I can or not, we do have another one coming out in a couple of days, and it's phenomenal. It's a different whiskey, and I just think it's about, my point, maybe I shouldn't say that, but look, by the time people see this video, it'll be out. Every other month, every so, I think we're expecting more. And I think it's just about the cask, just finding a different cask. And that was a very unique one, a very interesting level of sherry influence. And the interplay between that and the peat was a little weird in my opinion. So we have some other ones that are just phenomenal, but
oh yeah, definitely. And today we had a 12-year-old Orkney, cask number
Highland Park, baby.
4, and phenomenal 64.5%. We had a Huntmaster rum
Nicaragua
at 57.5%, 18-year-old that was phenomenal. We got to try the Bunnahabhain,
which is a 10. That's number 10 distillery.
Enthralling Pink and Peat Intensity that sold out within about 30 minutes.
That's sad.
But this Klein Leash 26.119 kicked everything right in the arse. Dark and Dangerously Good. I wish I would have.
I will tell you before we sign off, probably a year ago, if not a year and a half ago, Roy, who's got his show,
Aqua
Vitae, had said, man, I wish you guys, the Dummies, could get more independent bottling expressions in the States. And it wasn't very long after that we were actually offered, hey, try out a membership. Full disclosure, we're going to let you guys have a membership without a cost, but you still got to buy your bottles. And I started buying right away. But it's because what they can do, or they can tweak what you're used to, bring it in at cask strength, do some different kind of barrel bottlings. And Roy was right on. As soon as I started having these, we were looking at Single Cask Nation. I mean, the independent bottlings, I think, is where there's a lot of flavor, there's a lot of experimentation, and it's a fun place to go kind of taste and play around. Just me.
Yeah.
So
just a quick shout out to some of those tuning in and some of the other whiskey reviewers that are on YouTube with us. Roy is here with Aqua Vitae, and a lot of these channels, if you don't know them, check them out. Keith at the Malted Man Cave is here. We've seen Adventures in Whiskey, Bobby Childs.
Bobby.
And he just commented a little bit ago, HP is one of his favorite distilleries. He bets a single cask release can be spectacular. And it is, Bobby. When this comes out in a couple of days, I don't think you'd be disappointed in the smoked plum lemonade. If you're a member of the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. If you're not, join, and we'll let Ben. Ben was talking about a special offer they got going.
Yeah, the promo right with now. The Dummies name. Say that again.
So,
Ben.
Well, let's wait. Let me go through a few more. I'll let Ben sign off, and then he can comment on that a little bit. Who else did we have tuning in today? Eric Waite. He's got his own channel. Check him out. He's doing wine and whiskey.
Should be the sniper.
Yep. I don't know if Swami Malted in Montreal was here or not. Whiskey in the Six was here.
Spirit Sniper. God, that'd be good. Sorry.
And I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. I apologize if I do. Bourbon Shenanigans is here. That's Mike. Ooh, he's the 5th Scotch 4 dummy.
Oh, really?
But he's been tuning in, and he's going to start doing, I think, some bourbon reviews on his own. So
anyway, you can work in shenanigans. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Watch for more from Bourbon Shenanigans. That's a tongue twister right there. It is. Especially after a few drinks.
Should be just like shenana. Bourbon Shenana.
I didn't even see this comment from Billy Hughes up there a while. Billy's been tuning in, great supporter, but he says, good Sunday live, boys. Happy Easter. Got to take the Chupacabra out for a walk. Look forward to the Pete Strikes Back.
Bam, it's coming.
All right, well, we'll end it there.
We'll go back to
I'm sure there's
Ben.
I'm sure there's some people I'm forgetting. I apologize. We'll let Ben tell us a little bit more about the special
Big Ben.
The special offer from the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, and then tell everybody, of course, again, who you are, where you're at.
How to find you, and how to catch all your Instagrams. I caught him off.
Of all the things you've said, that was anyway. So look, guys, if for those of you who are a member, look forward to a lot of exciting whiskeys and more events across the United States coming up this year. If you're not a member, here in the USA, we're doing a pretty cool promo. If you join, you have the option of paying the base membership of $99. The renewal after the first year is actually only $70. It drops down. That's a base membership. But if you can also spend, I think if it's $150 for a bundle where we actually send a bottle of whiskey as well, or $175 gets you a tasting kit of 3 200 milliliter bottles of different whiskeys as well. But right now we're just doing a special promo. If the base whiskey is not the one that you want, if you want to choose your own whiskey, you can pay for the base membership. You sign up, and in the notes, write Scotch Test Dummies, and we'll go ahead and we'll send you a $25 gift card via email to then go use for the purchase of your first whiskey from the society. So that's kind of a one thing, $25 off the first bottle purchase. Enter Scotch Test Dummies in the notes at checkout. So any other questions, you can always email me. I'm at ben@SMWSA for America.com. Ooh, I know that's fancy, but
it is good.
You can email me if you have any questions at any time. You can also call us as well. As I mentioned, we do a lot. I mean, our phones are ringing all day long of members calling up, looking for recommendations. We spend a lot of time to know their palate and their flavor preferences to really kind of guide them with recommendations. So by all means, take advantage of that. Otherwise, I'm personally on Instagram. It's at Single Malt Alliance. And, even though I'm not with this company, I think we have this philosophy of really just celebrating all different whiskeys. So I'm still writing about and sharing opinions of my enjoyment of different whiskeys from different distilleries and other indie bottlers too. It's really kind of all one community. And the society really takes that approach of celebrating what everybody's doing.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Very nice.
It's a lovely small community.
We have to close out with some more cowbell.
Woo! Whiskey in the Six.
So Rob over at Whiskey in the Six. Happy Easter, everyone. Bart, give me back my scarf.
Oh, wow. What did he do? $13.99?
Rob would wear that better than
Rob would. It goes better with the beard. I think he put in $13.99. That's like $7 US. See, Rob, we're still hanging.
Don't be hard on him.
I'm hanging. Well, anytime he wants to take my scarf.
The Canadian dollar right now is low compared to the U.S. They're even hollering about it.
Right, and the pound's bigger than the U.S. That's right. Get it. We know how it works. Anytime we can poke a little fun.
Simeon asked this a little bit earlier. I forgot to bring it up, but he is asking if you're delivering to Australia. You do have the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society is available in Australia,
yes.
right?
Yeah, that's what he said earlier.
Yeah.
Yep. Big presence in Australia. Again, my role here is within the USA, the American chapter. The Australian one is that's a big group, and they get a lot of casks every month. So
beautiful.
Good thumbs up there from Whiskey Babbler. I haven't seen you tune in before. Thanks for tuning in. And Eric Waite says Rob would wear the purple scarf with a 6 on it. So with that, Julia Photography, you've been tuning in. Julia joins Dan.
We love
over
Julia.
at the Whiskey Throttle.
Yeah, Julia's
In
great.
fact is, I haven't shown.
Yeah, what was
Whiskey Throttle sent this for you.
Wow.
It's a
game.
It's a card game / board game.
I'm going to tell you, I saw that in the background, and I'm like,
yeah.
what is that doing here? But I didn't want to get in trouble.
He sent us the Canadian whiskey.
I'm a huge board gamer, Ben.
Guide by Davin Kermigo.
Wow.
But he had it. He got it from him and actually had him autograph it to us.
Wow. We need to have him on the show.
Right there at the top for the Scotch Test Dummies. That was my elbow.
Just your elbow. Yeah, huge board game.
Yeah, big thank you to Whiskey Throttle. Big thank you to Ben for joining us today.
Thanks
and always a pleasure.
Love the Ben.
Love the offerings from the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society. If at least go check it out if you're interested. They do have the membership fee, but you know, if it's something you're interested, you get unique, offerings here.
Unique.
Yeah, stuff that you can't get anywhere else.
Right.
A 12-year-old Highland Park at 64.5% from a refill sherry puncheon. Was it? Is that right? No, I'm talking.
I don't know if you got that.
Refill sherry puncheon.
I just like how you said puncheon. I would have messed that up. I would have been like punchon, and you would have been like it's not French. I would have been like I was trying to get fancy.
Bart, what are we going to do?
We are going to Scotch it, you Scotch gods.
Cilantro.
Dummies.
Dummies.
Thanks, Ben. That was phenomenal.
Thanks, guys. That was a great show. I appreciate you having me.